Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Friday to everybody. Today, I want to continue down a path we've been on quite a lot lately, and that is talking college football because it is 3 weeks from tomorrow. It all begins on Saturday, August 24th. Today, I want to talk about an article that was put out by James Parks on June 21st. He is a writer for Sports Illustrated. You can find this article in its entirety on SI.com, and it is the 12 most intriguing matchups this year in college football. And there are 11 games on this list that I understand why they're intriguing, and I'll try to explain a little bit of it as I go. But there's one game on here that I just do not understand at all why it's intriguing. So if you watch this video and you know why this game might be intriguing, or if it's intriguing to you for a certain reason, please let me know in the comments section down below. While you're there, give the video a like, a thumbs up, and share the video on all social media platforms. We just passed 1,100 subscribers. Help us get even more past that, because you will, no matter what you do, you will lose subscribers here and there, and I don't want to get just above 1,100 and then go right back below 1,100. So share the video on all social media platforms. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. But the first intriguing matchup, according to James Parks from SI.com, number 12 is Miami at Florida, which of course comes our way in week number 1. And of course, this game is intriguing. These two teams are bitter rivals. They used to play on a pretty regular basis. Now they don't. But this game is intriguing because, according to most people, Miami is back. And according to most people, Florida is not going to be any good. So this game, according to the experts, should be Miami pretty handily. But I guarantee you it'll be down to the wire. Number 11 is the one game on this list that I just cannot find intriguing, no matter how hard I look at it and how many times I look at it. Number 11 is Utah at Oklahoma State, and this game is on September 21st. And Utah is normally a top 10 team, and Oklahoma State is normally not even ranked. If they are, they're ranked between 21 and 25. They're normally a team that loses about 3 games every year. So I'm not really quite sure why he thinks this game is intriguing, unless he thinks Oklahoma State is going to hang with them or beat them, because Oklahoma State usually is one of those teams that every year they have that one win and you just cannot figure out how they done it, and they have that one loss that you just cannot figure out how they done it. Number 10 is Oregon at Michigan. That game is not until November the 2nd. Should be a really good football game. A lot of people still think Michigan is going to be a top 10 team this year, and I can't say they're not going to be, but I don't know how you can lose basically your whole entire team, with the exception of 1 or 2 key players and your head coach, and be a top 10 team. But it is possible, but I do expect Oregon to be really, really good. Number 9 on his list is Ole Miss at LSU, which comes your way October the 12th. And October the 12th is a big day in the world of college football, as you'll find out as I continue reading down this list. But Ole Miss at LSU should be a good game because Lane Kiffin is still a troll. Lane Kiffin is still very entertaining. Lane Kiffin still talks a lot of junk. And yes, Lane Kiffin has made Ole Miss better than they were when he got there. But if you look at Lane Kiffin's track record, he never wins a big game. Yes, he's turned Ole Miss around and made them better than what they were when he got there. But still, every year, if they play a team that's as good as them or better than them, he loses. He never wins a game that he shouldn't win. And this year, I don't expect LSU to be as good as they were last year and 2 years ago, but I still think they're going to be really good. And if Ole Miss can't beat them, they're not beating Georgia. They're not beating Alabama. Number 8 is Texas versus Oklahoma, which is also on October the 12th. Now, Oklahoma and Texas play every year on the second Saturday in October. It's always at the Dallas Fort Worth State Fair, since both schools are so close to Dallas and the State Fair. It's always at noon Eastern, and it's always a neutral site game. I don't expect anything different this year. But the one thing that's intriguing about this game that I find funny is Texas, according to most people, is a top 5 football team this year. Almost every article you look at and read about Texas has Texas in the top 5 this year. Most teams don't jump conferences and go to a new conference and automatically they're a top 5 team. I know Missouri left the Big 12 and won the SEC East 2 straight years, but that was in their second and third year in the SEC. Their first year, I believe they were below 500. That's just a quick example that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. But most teams don't change conferences and automatically be good. But most people have Texas as a top 5 team this year, and nobody's even talking about Oklahoma. Like, they no longer even exist. But Oklahoma beat Texas last year. So if Texas is so good, but they lost to Oklahoma last year, how is Oklahoma all of a sudden not going to be any good? I don't understand that at all, especially considering Brent Venables just got that huge new contract because how good they think he's going to be. So you beat Texas last year, you just give your head coach a brand new contract, and all of a sudden the very next year, both teams change conferences, and Texas is top 5 and Oklahoma is borderline top 25. Makes no sense to me. Number 7 is Clemson at Florida State. And most people don't remember this, but a few years back, Clemson was playing Florida State in Tallahassee, and they traveled down there, and on Saturday morning, the day of the game, at about 5:30, 5:45 Saturday morning, Florida State decided they were going to cancel the game. And all the Clemson fans and the Clemson media and the Clemson coaching staff were all up in arms. And I can't blame them because Florida State had the whole week to cancel the game. And nothing happened. Nothing went on. And you let Clemson spend all that money on buses to get down there and motels down there. And you let all the fans drive down there and waste their money to drive down there, and you wait till the day of the game to cancel. That was classless. They could have canceled the game on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and it would have been okay. But ever since that happened, people have thought that Clemson's out for revenge against Florida State. I really haven't thought that. But this year, we have DJU, of course, as the new quarterback for Florida State. And last year, Florida State was a top 5 team, but their closest game in the regular season was against Clemson. And I think Clemson's going to be better this year. I don't think Florida State's going to be quite as good this year. So that game will be intriguing to all the people that still think Clemson wants revenge in Tallahassee, because of Florida State waiting till the day of the game to cancel. And now DJU, the former quarterback at Clemson, is now the quarterback at Florida State. That game is on October the 5th. Number 6 is Georgia at Ole Miss, which is on November the 9th. And you can pretty much take what I said earlier about Ole Miss and stamp it here. If Ole Miss can't beat LSU October the 12th, you're just not going to make me believe they're going to beat Georgia on November the 9th. I know the Georgia game is at home, LSU game's on the road, but Georgia's also way better than LSU is, so that's why that game is intriguing. Number 5 is September the 7th, so week number 2. We see Texas at Michigan, so we'll find out pretty early in the season how good both of those teams are. October the 12th is Ohio State at Oregon. If I'm not mistaken, those two teams played just a couple of years ago, and I expect both these teams to be top 5 teams this year, so that should be a really, really, really good game. And that game might decide who will get a home playoff game come playoff time. October the 19th, we get Georgia at Texas. November the 30th, we get Michigan at Ohio State. That game's intriguing every year because those two teams absolutely hate each other. I know to a lot of Southerners, we talk about football in the South and how it means so much more in the South and all that bull crap, but really, truly, you're not going to find more meaningful football and more meaningful hatred anywhere in the country than you will Michigan at Ohio State. I have literally heard stories about how those two schools, even though they're different states, are so close together that a lot of times you're not allowed to even talk to somebody who attends either school. If you're a Michigan fan, you can't talk to a Buckeye fan. If you're a Buckeye fan, you can't talk to a Wolverine fan. And really, truly, when they play each other, every single thing that happens in either town is canceled because they want every single fan from Ann Arbor and Columbus to either watch that game on TV or be there in person. And the most intriguing game of the year, according to James Parks from SI.com, is September 28th matchup between Georgia and Alabama. We'll find out pretty early in the season exactly how good Alabama's going to be with the Georgia game coming up at the end of September. Honestly, I don't think Alabama's going to miss a beat. I think the coach they got is really, really good. He's about as boring as they come when it comes to personality when you compare him to Nick Saban. But coaching-wise, I think he's just as good as Saban, if not better. What most people don't talk about when it comes to Nick Saban, I guess they're afraid to say anything bad about him because, oh, God, you said something bad about Nick Saban. But Nick Saban was a complete failure in the NFL. And at Michigan State, he was simply just an average coach. He wasn't great. He was average. He won a national title at LSU, but outside of that 1 year there, he was average. He didn't become great till he went to Alabama. You can't fail in the NFL and fail at Michigan State and all of a sudden be one of the all-time greats. Was he a great coach? Yes. But he failed at half of his jobs. That's 50%. That's not great. If you're half in school, guess what? You failed. Was he great at Alabama? Absolutely. But he was a complete failure in the NFL, and he was only average at Michigan State. Whereas the coach they've got now at Alabama has won everywhere he's ever coached. He's never failed anywhere. He might be boring, he might be vanilla, but the man can flat out coach. Nick Saban had to suck first and then get good. Kalen DeBoer has never sucked. He's been good from the outset. But there are 3 games on October the 12th. Ole Miss at LSU, Texas, Oklahoma, and Ohio State and Oregon. Hopefully, The Texas-Oklahoma game, like every year, will be at noon, and hopefully LSU Ole Miss will be 3:30, and Ohio State Oregon will be 8 o'clock, so we can watch all three games and not have to worry about recording one and watching it later. But October the 12th has three of the top 12 most intriguing matchups of the year. So October the 12th will be an all-day adventure if you're a college football fan. Again, as always, any thoughts on this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. The Who were eating at a buffet and had just finished their third plates from the buffet. The server comes by and says, "We're about to close the buffet. Would you guys like to go back for more?" And the singer responds, "No thanks, we won't get food again." And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of three. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.